Hey everybody, it's me, Amanda, and
Rikky.
With Once in a Wild, and we're back in action. Welcome back to another Once in a Wild live stream. It is Wednesday. We are actually live today. Yay! Hooray! Are you excited?
Yay!
I think it's time to go ahead and get started here in a little bit. We have some animals for you guys to meet, and it's really nice to be back, and it's been lots and lots of things going on, so we're going to talk about all of that, and we're going to pick Ricky's brain a little bit, and I think we go ahead and get started. Alrighty, everybody. Once again, my name is Amanda, and this is
Rikky.
And we're here with Once in a Wild. It's another Once in a Wild Wednesday. We are going live about once a month now, right, honey?
Once first Wednesday of every month.
Except this month.
Yeah.
So we're gonna figure it out at some point, but thank you for bearing with us and adjusting as we're adjusting, and we're just super busy, you guys, and we just need a little bit of a break from doing the live all the time. We went from 3 times a week to once a week to now probably once a month. So it's gonna be a lot of fun though tonight, and like I said, I have Rikky with me, which is so much fun, and we're gonna meet some animals. But what's been going on last few weeks? We've been doing a lot of things.
We've been super busy. Lots of Halloween events for different people.
Yep.
Lots of happy kids.
Lots of happy kids.
Lots of happy adults.
Yes, I hope so.
Lots of creepy crawly encounters.
Yes.
Lots of trick-or-treating, lots of really cool costumes.
Yes. Do you have any favorite costumes that you've seen of the kids or adults this year? Have you even thought about it? I haven't really thought about that.
I shared them on our stories, and I believe 2 of my favorite was there was a Wanda and a Vision.
Oh, I didn't see that one. Where? At Once Upon a Party, is it?
It was at the Botanical Gardens.
Was it adults or kids?
Adults.
Adults were doing was it the old school? Was it the old school? I did see them. They walked by, but I did not really get to talk to them very long.
Really cool.
We see
I'll post a photo because we took some photos.
Oh, very good. I love that.
And then who else?
Just keep talking. Hi, I'm just saying hello.
Let me see who else.
There was I saw David Bowie. That was really
David
cool.
Bowie
it was a little
cool.
boy who was playing David Bowie. That was awesome. Or he was dressed as him.
I don't know.
He had the lightning bolt makeup on, right?
People should comment what was their favorite costume.
What did you wear this year, and what was your favorite costume that you saw other than yourself? And we did not get to go dress up as anything, although we usually dress up in Harry Potter clothes or just our once in a while clothes when we do events, or wear black depending on the event. We did a witch themed event that was really fun. But yeah, October is super busy for Once in a While. Now, if you guys are new, I assume you've seen our show before, but if you're new to the show and the channel, hi, my name is Amanda, this is Rikky, and we are the owners of Once in a Wild. So Once in a Wild is a mobile zoo right here in Texas, and we're in San Antonio, Texas. But we bring animals to different events, sometimes very educational, sometimes a little more casual, always a little bit educational for everything. But October ends up being a really, really popular month for our animals because we have a lot of smaller creepy crawly type animals and an owl. So we do a lot of Harry Potter theme, a lot of creepy crawlies, Halloween, of course, etc., etc. So we've been doing a lot of things for October. So thank you for having patience with us and not going live as often. We've been running reruns and things, and because we've been really busy and frankly kind of stressed. So it's a lot to to commit to and do. So. But we should be, like I said, going live once a month. But it's been a really fun month. I'm not complaining. It's just been really busy, and we've had no downtime.
I wish we had a bigger team.
Yes, we will get a bigger team.
Because if we could do all the events, oh my God.
And still have some time off sometimes. No, and it's great. It's great to be in demand because, a couple years ago, we weren't. So it's nice to have this big change with COVID and everything when we opened up back when we were doing 3 live streams a week. I can't even imagine doing 3 live streams a week anymore.
No, we're so
but that's
grateful.
Great. That's great. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's nice to be
super
popular.
Grateful.
But we are here in San Antonio, so if you need any event like animals for your events or birthday parties, classroom, of course, libraries, nursing homes, whatever. We can bring animals to the San Antonio area and even surrounding cities, Austin, etc. But if you happen to be not in our area and you're outside of our driving vicinity, right? We can go virtual for you guys too. If you happen to still be wanting the virtual Zoom encounters, we can definitely bring a Zoom to you as well. But that's what we do, just briefly. And of course, we've got public events coming up pretty soon, and they're always going to be on our social media announcements and also our website, onceinawild.com. You can find our kind of schedule on there and see what events are coming up that are actually public, because a lot of events it's going to be like a place is already planning, like we just did a whole bunch of them for October, but in November and December we've got more. For example, Morgan's Wonderland is actually having us out for a few appearances. Now we're only going to be there for a little bit of the time per event, but it's a bunch of days in a row, so just check out the website or check out Morgan's Wonderland and you can see what's happening. Those are the ones that come to mind right now, but if we get some more, we've got the School Discovery Days coming up, one this weekend, just Saturday, and I'm sure there'll be more, but we always post them, so just stay tuned, or you can always reach out to us and ask and see what events are coming up to where you can come on out either for free or a small fee. But if you'd like to hire us for your own private event, we also do that too, of course. Right. That's the best way to help us out, by hiring us. Yeah,
it's fun.
So it's been a lot of fun. I'm sad to see October go. It's my favorite month of the year. But November's been mild weather so far, knock on wood. So we're happy to have a few more outdoor events coming up.
Sweater weather.
Sweater or sweaty?
Sweater weather.
Sweaty and sweater. So if you guys are going to actually hire us for an outdoor, we do recommend having a plan B for the weather, because you never know what it's going to do here in Texas. It's a little bit crazy. Sweaty or sweater?
Sweater.
Sweaty or sweater? I know, I'm just joking. But it's almost the same word.
Yeah, I know. No, but yeah, October was a lot of fun. We did a lot of really cool stuff. Hopefully that'll give us more opportunities to do more things next year. We're still figuring out how to get more people involved with Once in a Wild. So if you guys are in your town, share our stuff, like our stuff, comment,
do all the things. Definitely follow. If you're not subscribed to YouTube yet, make sure and subscribe to YouTube, and TikTok is another one where we need a little bit of help, but YouTube is a little bit down. Maybe we just need to make some more videos to upload. I think that would help us out a lot.
Well,
it takes time.
Yeah, I know.
But we'll get there. I'm not too worried about
We have 100 animals.
So many animals. We have over 100 animal individuals and about 60 species to take care of.
And then events all the time.
We're super busy. Crazy. We don't really take days off, and we own the company. So if you guys know anybody that owns their own company, they almost never stop working, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it is what it is. So tell everybody that may not be familiar with you, because they see me all the time. What do you do for Once in a Wild, and a little bit about you?
Oh my God.
Just in case.
Let's see. Where do I start?
Besides helping with, you do help with the animal events too.
I do. I help out at the events, but I mostly work in marketing, sales, all the behind the scenes stuff. I like to do all the financial stuff, all the preparation of documentation and business and business planning, all the boring stuff.
All of it? I don't do any of that stuff.
No, obviously you do a lot too. We all do a lot of stuff.
Yes, that's true.
We have to wear a ton of different hats in this business, and so we try to every day it's something new, something different. And this is a crazy journey. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, and very unique.
Yeah.
All right.
I have, let's see, we talked about Morgan's Wonderland.
Yes.
We talked about Halloween. And yes, now I remember. Cyber Monday is coming.
Oh, yeah.
Cyber Monday is coming. That is, I don't know, Cyber Monday, whatever that is.
You know what it is, y'all.
The Monday after Black Friday.
Oh, right. Okay. Perfect.
Right? that's the Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah, Cyber Monday. If you book on that day, you get 10% discount.
For anything.
So Cyber Monday.
Yeah, 10% off. Is that online or calls? Do we care?
Whatever.
It doesn't matter. So if you call on that Monday or you go online and book, which it's usually calling you guys or texting us to book, we can give you a discount on top of other discounts that you may get too. So even if it's because we also offer discounts for like over 3 hours or over 3 bookings in a row. And then I don't mind knocking off 10% off of that too. So go ahead and call, get your, and it can be scheduled for whenever. It can be upcoming in months and months. That's totally fine. We'll get you scheduled and get it done for you. Really exciting. Well, we brought some predators on the show today. Animals. Let's see. It's a little bit far away, so our phone's a little bit far. Proniel says it's snowing in Canada. Y'all are lucky down there. That's not really a question, but yes. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any comments or questions, of course, like always. I know it's been a little bit since we've been like actually live, so people may not be commenting as much this time because, you know, it's fine. But someone's asking if Rikky has any tattoos.
Nope.
He does not.
0.
I get all the tattoo money in this relationship, and I get to get all the tattoos. I actually have quite a few myself, as you can see some right there. But no, he does not. Why don't you have any tattoos, Rikky? Money or something else?
I am scared of needles.
No, you're not. You're not scared of needles.
I don't like.
So Rikky used to have piercings.
Afraid. Yeah.
So you're not really scared of needles.
No. I don't know. I think it's. I think now
I don't think
not
it's a wrong
having
choice.
tattoos
I think it's fine.
is punk rock.
Whatever.
I don't know.
No, I think maybe it's just like making decisions.
No, you know what?
A decision of what to get?
It's something way too permanent.
That's what I mean.
Yes. No.
Making the decision that's going to be permanent.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment.
If
not that you're afraid of commitment.
If I could figure out a way for a tattoo to like evolve.
I mean, you can add to it.
But that's still. No.
But I mean, honestly, if you don't want something that's permanent, that's going to be permanent, don't do it. Yeah. Or if you don't want to pay the money, don't do it.
No, plus I know how much it hurts.
Yes, it does hurt a lot.
No.
You don't know, actually. No, it's pretty painful. Some places are not nearly as painful as others. But it's a matter of you have to stay still for hours and just take it. Yeah. But no, he does not. I have all the tattoos. He likes tattoos.
I do. I like tattoos a lot. I enjoy looking at them all the time.
I hope so.
I enjoy tattoos in other people. Mm-hmm. I like the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or piercing too. Whatever.
I enjoy skateboarding too, and I try to do it, but I can't.
That's not the same thing.
I enjoy music, but I don't partake as well. But yeah, tattoos are too permanent. It hurts. Ouch.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not for everyone. Let's just say that. Yeah. No, he does not. So let's go ahead and segue somehow into talking about animals. So today we brought 3 animals. That's the usual number of animals that we bring. It's a nice round number. 3 is my favorite number, so I always bring 3. But then sometimes I don't, so I shouldn't say always. But like sometimes we'll theme it to where it's just 1 animal or extra animals. But 3 is a good solid, number for this. So we have brought 3. Get out of here. We have brought 3 African predators. And they're all kind of on the small side, but the last one coming out isn't necessarily going to stay small. And the first one actually isn't going to stay small. So let's go ahead and bring out her first. And it happens to be a type of amphibian. This species, what are you doing? Oh, okay. She says hi. This species is actually the 3rd largest amphibian in the world. Let's take a look in the main camera right here. Who is this, Rikky?
That is Francis, the pixie frog.
A pixie frog, very good. Why do they call them a pixie frog?
Because they play in the Pixies.
Yeah. So she's named after Black Francis from the Pixies.
Yes.
When we got her, she was like about the size of her head. She was really, really tiny. Remember when we got her? She was so little. And now she's about the size of a muffin top. Is what she reminds me of. A nice,
Look at her.
hefty muffin top is the size
She's a
that she is.
cutie.
So, but she is going to get a lot bigger, right? Yeah,
Yes.
these guys get pretty big.
About yay big.
About yay big. That's right. Volleyball size, we like to say. So why in the world would they call something big a pixie? Do you know why?
I believe you mentioned something about it being short for pixie something because they have a small head, right?
That is correct. So most animals, of course, all animals have a like a scientific name, and most of those names are in Latin or some sort of ancient language, right? Sometimes Greek, sometimes other things. And her Latin name, or I guess I don't know if it's Latin, honestly, if it's Greek, can't remember. But it's the scientific name is what I was trying to say. The scientific name, part of that is Pixiocephalus, which means small head.
Pixiocephalus.
Pixiocephalus. Cephalus means head.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if that's Greek or Latin off the top of my head. Now oh no! That never happens. So over on Instagram, you guys, we actually got a phone call coming in, and I had to stop that so we could go back live. Oh no! What are we gonna do?
That's okay. Just keep going. I guess it'll fix itself.
We're having technical problems over on Instagram, which is
there you go. I think it's
filmed on my phone, and I ended up getting a phone call that I didn't expect. So I'm just gonna do this time. Boop. I'll put my phone on silent. That was super professional of me. So anyway, so these guys, they have the tiny head and they have the big round fat body, and the tiny head gives them the name Pixiocephalus, which means small head. It also means small box-shaped head. The box-shaped part is part of it as well. This is a great live stream so far. But yeah, they have this very, very round shape, and they can get about the size of a volleyball, and they stay round like a volleyball too. The males are actually, though, bigger than the females. So she could get pretty big, but the males get even bigger, which is actually really rare in the amphibian world. Most of the time, the females are bigger, and the males are smaller in most species, but not the case for the African bullfrog / pixie frog. So the African bullfrog is another name for this species, but they're also called the pixie frog. So, and I'm sure there's other names for them in other languages.
So I have a question for you.
Yes, what is your question?
What is the difference between a frog and a toad?
Ooh, that's a good question. A lot of people mistake her for a toad, right? Mm-hmm. So when we bring Frances to shows or display purposes or whatever, we bring her to an event or anything like that. If I do a show and tell, I sometimes just hold her like this. I don't recommend holding frogs, by the way, except for briefly and after you've rinsed your hands with clean water, because they are very, very sensitive. She's like, let me go. She's like, you said you don't hold frogs, so let me go. But when we bring her to like events where she's going to be out for a while, we'll sometimes have her like in a display. And people can see these little bumps all over her, and they see her round shape. And they say, oh, what kind of toad is that? Or is that a toad? Blah, 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 blah. So toads, the biggest difference between a toad and a frog is going to be whether or not they spend a lot of time in water or not. So toads don't spend a whole lot of time in water, and frogs do spend a lot of time in water. Both toads and frogs have to have their babies in water, so they're going to lay their eggs in the water, and of course both become tadpoles when they hatch. But toads have a much more dry skin and dry lifestyle, even maybe in deserts sometimes. There's not really any desert frogs. There's a lot of desert toads. So toads don't need as much water, albeit they need some. And then frogs spend a lot more time in the water. They have swimming ability. They have more webbing on their feet. See the feet?
So
this is a frog.
How would a toad in the desert, how would that, like, they don't go into the water? Like
they oftentimes will hibernate. They'll kind of like wait it out until the rains come back.
Okay.
Or they live off of plants, plant moisture, not necessarily eating them, but there'll be like moisture on the plant that they can actually survive off of, or dew from the morning dew. They'll use the water there. But toads also live in like woods. You see toads in neighborhoods. Toads are just more of a drier lifestyle than a frog is. That's the main difference. But also in general, toads tend to be, most of them tend to be bumpier than frogs. Frogs are sometimes smoother, not all. You can see she has bumps.
Yeah, I know, but that's the confusing part.
Yes,
like,
I know.
Yes,
I know. Now, this is even more confusing, is that all toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. So toads are a type of frog. They're just a more specific type of frog.
Oh, okay.
So you're not really wrong by calling them a toad, calling a frog a toad, but you might be wrong calling a frog I'm not having a good time today. A toad, a frog. So all frogs are toad. All toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads. Guys, can you tell it's been a while since I have been on the actual live program? If you're ever wondering if it's actually live or not, this is your answer. I mess up. Toads are a type of frog, but not all frogs are specifically toads.
Okay.
You get it? You get it. So did that answer your question? Also, sometimes, to make it even more confusing, some scientists or people that discover species will name frogs toads when they're not really toads. Just like the fire-belly toads that we have. Fire-belly toads are not toads, they're frogs. But they have bumps on them, so they were called toads.
Got it. And how come this guy's not toad?
Because they're more aquatic. They're a true frog. Bullfrogs are big.
These guys, these guys are in mud, right?
No, they live in water as long as there's water. So they actually only bury themselves during the dry season. So this type of frog, you guys, is actually from the savannas of Africa. And the savanna only has 2 seasons. It's the wet season and the dry season. So during the dry season, there's really no rain. So as soon as the rain goes away, they will actually bury themselves underground and sleep throughout the whole dry season, which can actually vary. So the dry season can be as short as 2 months or as long as 9 months. So it just depends. And their body just adjusts to that. They kind of go into a little hibernation, which is called estivation because it's not based on cold, it's based on dry versus wet. But they are considered a frog because number 1, genetics. But number 2, they do live in water the entire wet season. So they're going to actually look for places to have their babies in water. They're going to spend time in the river, in the pond, puddle, whatever they can find. It might dry down towards the end of the wet season to be mud, but they like water. So they're going to be, they're able to swim, all the things. So the toads in general are going to have just more of a drier life.
Are they good swimmers?
These guys, they can swim some. I wouldn't call them good swimmers because they're not really the best. But they do have these legs. See?
I figure they'd be
just swim a little bit. They can hop a little bit. They can swim a little bit. They don't move a whole lot compared to other frogs because they're more of an ambush hunter. But they can swim around a little bit. Yeah.
My favorite thing.
Now they're definitely a weird frog. They're a weird shape. They're a weird everything. So they're not a great example of frog versus toad. They look more like a toad.
My favorite thing about these guys are their teeth.
The teeth?
Yeah.
Tell me about the teeth.
Well, if they open their mouth, they have 3 teeth right under their bottom jaw. Right here. And it's like the weirdest teeth I've ever seen because you don't see animals like that with just 3 bottom teeth. Yeah. Like I can understand like if he had like fangs like
2 on top or even 2 on bottom. Mm-hmm.
But something where because you're gonna bite, right? Mm-hmm. But what does that do? So
let me tell you. So they're not really teeth. They function as teeth, but they're not true teeth that can like fall out and stuff like that. They're actually projections on their jaw itself. So the jaw has evolved to have 3 points on the bottom jaw that are more like bone than teeth. So they don't have like a root. Yeah. You were supposed to be a dentist when you were younger, so you know about teeth roots and things like that, of course. Yeah. Everyone does, right? But they don't have like a root. They don't have a nerve. It's just like bone project. It's almost like a beak situation. Cool. Does that make sense? They just kind of have developed that to be able to protect themselves, catch food, and also protect their baby. Because these guys actually are protective of their babies when the dads do that. But yes, so they're super weird that way. Most frogs don't have teeth of any sort like that. There's a couple of species that have it, and that's it. And they're both related to these guys. So it's like the pixie frog family, if you will. So they have like these weird, like horrific looking, and it's 3 instead of 2, which is weird, right? It's cool. It's really cool.
It's crazy.
It's like a bear trap.
like I you grow up looking at frogs thinking they eat bugs, right? That you always see the little tongue and the flies and the from the cartoons.
Most people know that they eat bugs.
But the first time I saw you feed Francis was a pinky mouse.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
Yes.
It ate a whole pinky mouse.
Yeah. Easily.
And the bigger they get, I'm guessing they can eat mice.
Oh, yes.
And birds.
These guys can literally eat anything they want as long as it fits down their throat. They eat it.
Incredible.
And sometimes frogs will be too ambitious and try to eat something that's too big and they end up choking. But these guys are true carnivores. Like they eat literally anything that's an animal, usually alive. They're not really a scavenger or anything like that, but they like to have that kind of movement stimulation to be able to want to eat. That's all frogs though. But these guys are super unique in the fact that they have a lot on the menu. So it can be any animal is fair game as long as it's small enough to fit into their mouth. And my favorite thing about frogs is how they swallow their food. How they swallow their food.
Well,
do you remember?
I've got another question.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
We'll go to that later. Don't want to forget.
Because
my favorite thing about them.
I unfortunately saw these awful videos on Facebook where they feed scorpions to this African bullfrog.
Oh, I see.
And I the way they did it, I didn't like it. It wasn't very, very nice. But I was amazed that they were able to eat a whole scorpion.
Oh yeah, like a big one.
So how does that fit in their stomach? And also, like,
I mean, was it a big scorpion and a smaller frog? You mean?
No, it was a pretty big frog, and it was a scorpion, and it was like a
scorpion's
big scorpion.
Easy because it crunches. So that would,
well,
that would actually compress.
That was my first thought was obviously, you crunch it or you chew it, but
no, they swallow it up.
They just swallow it.
They do,
and
but it's gonna compress in there because the scorpion is.
So I'm guessing their inside is pretty big, and it'll have, I don't know how powerful it is, but I'm
pretty
guessing
powerful.
Because
must be.
It could fit a ton in there.
Yeah, and these guys digest the whole animal too.
Yeah.
Similar to how a snake would digest. But these guys even eat more often than a snake, right? Yeah. So these guys, as long as they're not like in that hibernation state, they'll eat and eat and eat as much as they can because they have to hibernate. So they're like building up that energy and everything like that. I know. You're so wiggly. Oh my. Pronell says that was a good question about the teeth. Yes, it was.
Oh yeah.
We don't like those videos.
Yeah, we don't like those
videos.
Videos.
That's not a good way to get entertained, right? We're not about that stuff. You guys know that. I've fed Frances before on the live stream and things, but we feed her like super worms and things that make sense. That was more for like
clickbait because they know that I like animals, so they put animal videos, and I guess as an outsider, you watch certain videos that you think, and to give you another example would be that you think, oh, that's a cute video of a dog doing a bad thing. And you as a animal trainer, you go, oh, that's not a good video.
Right.
But some people think it's cute.
Like people encouraging dogs to be aggressive. And
same thing as animals being used as
for example, like we wouldn't and it's one thing to watch like a nature program where it's happening in nature, but it's another thing to like put like two betta fish together and watch them battle each other. That's terrible. Obviously we know better nowadays, right? But there's still things out there that happen. So how do frogs, once they get something to eat and they want to swallow it, do you remember how they swallow?
Yes, they compress their head and their eyes and just like swallow it.
That's pretty good. Yeah. They swallow with their eyeballs. So they don't compress their head, but they kind of, like that. So the eyes actually sink down into the head, and they have the bug eyes, obviously, to be able to look over the water surface and to be able to see really well around them like that. Frogs have some of the best eyes in nature. So they see all colors. Most species do. And they see color at night, too.
Nice.
So this species isn't really a nocturnal frog. They're out in the day, and then they might kind of awake a little bit at night, but mostly in the day. But frog species that are out in the night, they see colors in the night, which is really rare in the animal kingdom. That's pretty cool. But they have amazing eyesight, but they have full blinking ability, as you saw, Frances shutting her eyes and opening them again. And they have a third eyelid. So these guys, on each one of their eyes, they have a third clear eyelid, which can clean the eye, and also they can look through in the water. So they can use them for goggles. But what's really cool about frogs, they're amazing animals, is they don't have these at birth, do they? So when they're tadpoles, they have like almost no very good eyes at all. Their eyes are very limited. So when they're a baby underwater, and by the way, this type of frog metamorphoses really fast because they have a short time period where they're in the water. Most frogs actually grow pretty fast, but this one has to like hurry up before the water dries up. And dad frog actually takes care of them until they grow up. But they start with really kind of like little dots for eyes. But then once they turn into a frog, like a baby frog, if you will, like a little actual frog, but it's like a smaller one, then they get the bug eyes, totally different vision, totally different digestion as well, because tadpoles can eat meat and plants, or like bugs and plants. And then when they become this, they're a carnivore. So they just completely change as an animal.
These guys are diurnal, right?
Pretty much. I don't know if they're considered diurnal fully, like daytime fully, or if they're just like a little bit of both. But they're more of a daytime than a nighttime. But most frogs are nocturnal.
So why would they need to see color at night? Just because?
I don't really know why. That's a good question.
Because I was thinking, like, I can see that if they, like, the owl needs to see really well at night because it's going to go hunting at night.
Well, I think it's just from being related to other frogs. So by default, they're just in the frog family. So most frogs see really well day or night. And because most frogs are awake in the night and they need to see like insects and see each other. And that's when they're doing their breeding and everything else. So that's just how they see. But
that is cool.
But it's rare for animals to see color at night. Even us, like we can barely see anything at night. Like
no,
we need some light to be able to see.
I can't barely see anything during the day.
Just in general.
Comes with age, buddies.
No, you were born like that. Let's all admit this. You have a great story about that when you first got glasses, actually.
Oh my god.
You want to tell the story? Just the brief version? Yes, tell it. No, she won't. No, she won't. No, she won't.
No.
Long story short, he was able to see his mom a little bit better, and his mom was kind of like, okay, take your glasses off. Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
I think it's funny, but my mom would not.
No?
Oh, no.
I thought she already told that story to me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, just tell it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's not that big of a deal.
I put on my glasses.
And how old were you?
Oh, I must have been like I was in second grade in elementary. What is that? 6,
7-ish, yeah, 7 years old, yeah, 7. little kid. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put on my glasses, and without the glasses, this looks like a single.
Nobody can see this.
No texture.
Nobody can see this.
Well, the
world.
background, right? Like without my glasses, it just looks like a single color. Mm-hmm. With the glasses, you start seeing the texture of things.
The walls, the trees, whatever.
Look at the texture and look at this. And then I look at my mom and I see, oh, look at your wrinkles. I can see all your wrinkles. My mom's take off those glasses now.
You mean put them? Yeah, take them off. Yeah,
take them off.
So he saw like the details of his mom's face finally, and he was like, "Wow, wrinkles!" And mom was like, "I don't want you to see my wrinkles."
Having it. Not having
that's ridiculous. That's how bad Rikky sees. But you still see colors. But humans don't really pick up colors at night because we don't have enough capacity, with the what do you call them? The cones in our eyes to see colors at night. But some other mammals see colors at night, but frogs do. Frogs have great vision. Actually, all of their senses are great. So frogs have good hearing, great vision, good sense of smell, taste, and touch. So everything is very good. When they're babies, though, when they're tadpoles, their vision isn't good. So they have more of a sense of like smell and vibration in the water to sense things and danger and things. But the metamorphosis is such a cool reason to like amphibians. Now, why are amphibians so important to the world? Because they are. They're super important. There's a few reasons.
Well, I know one. Because we can tell if the land is polluted, or if something is bad.
Just land?
With nature, right?
Nature, okay.
Quick question.
Yes.
These guys, do they blink?
Yes, they blink a lot.
Do they?
Not as tadpoles, so they have no eyelids when they're tadpoles. But when they are slime, we just showed her blinking.
I know, but I mean, like, because
other than eating,
I see it.
You mean often?
I mean, like this, like you know like how alligators will keep their eye open, but they're still blinking with
the third eyelid.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe not as often as we do.
But they do have a third eyelid?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes, they have a third clear eyelid they can look through, just like so if we do the eyes again. See it?
Oh, yeah.
It comes up like this. It swipes up.
Oh, it's so cool. I see it.
Yeah.
I see
it's just like the alligator.
Oh, that is really
or a crocodile.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of aquatic animals have that. And
So-
a lot of animals in general actually have a third eyelid. Cats and dogs have it.
So for
and a lot
those
of animals have it.
that can't see it, it looks like a
Here, I'm gonna.
yeah,
it's hard
but
to see.
it's really hard to see it.
By the way, guys, I'm not hurting her in any way. She's very tough, and it does not hurt them to do that. They're right.
But it looks like
right.
a piece of skin that is like foggy but transparent, and it's like a bottom eyelid going up and down like that.
Yeah, and it's just one, not two. So she has two eyelids like we do. We have a top and a bottom.
Yeah, but
and then she's got a third.
But the
eyelid.
top one looks like her skin.
Correct.
Like
top
ours.
and bottom.
Yeah.
Top and bottom. Top is much bigger because they have the big buggy eye. So they got a big top eyelid, a smaller lower eyelid, and then a sweeping up third eyelid, which is clear. Yeah. And kind of like not too super clear, but opaque, like you said. That protects their eyes. So they will blink when they catch their food. They will also, to prevent injury to the eye. A lot of animals blink when they catch their food, right? And then also, she'll blink to swallow. And the eyes actually sink down to the head and push the food down into their throat. It's the mechanism. They don't have swallowing muscles in their throat. They have to put their eyes down to swallow their food.
That's cool.
But then that third eyelid can help protect their eye.
So why do you think they have the different color on their bottom with the yellowish and white? And...
A lot of animals have, look at that, tubby wubby. Tubby wubby frog. See the bottom of her belly here and her chin, and the bottom of her legs is all white. A little bit of yellow, and then she's got the green top. So why would she need the green top?
Camouflage.
To camouflage.
Yeah.
But is she ever gonna roll over and show her belly? Probably not. So that's just how they've evolved. So some frogs have special colors on their belly or their body in general that they show off when they want to. And then animals like the corn snake have like a weird belly to show off when they want to warn their enemies too. These guys don't really do that to warn. So they're just gonna have camouflage, and then eventually they just don't need camouflage on their belly anymore.
That's what I thought.
It's just
that
evolution.
maybe they would flip over
they
or
don't.
something. Like...
This one doesn't do that. And they're also not a poisonous frog in any capacity. So they are edible to other animals. They have a lot of predators in the wild when they're little. And then as they get bigger, they have less predators because they're big animals. But they grow slow. So these guys do take a while to get to that size.
Because I do know they get really big. So if they get so big, why, like, what would eat a frog that big?
I mean, they're from Africa. So there's lots of big predators in Africa.
But like, what would eat a frog?
Lots of animals eat them during the wet season because of the way the seasons are in Africa. There's much less resources in the dry season because a lot of animals leave, a lot of animals pass away, and a lot of animals hibernate. So while animals are out in the wet season, almost anything eats them. So, I mean, certainly birds will eat them when they're smaller. Fish will eat them, but any like mammals will eat them too, like serval cats and all kinds of things.
That big, a fish will eat them?
Is that the biggest predator in Africa?
No, but like I'm just curious because I know in Africa, like say a lion wouldn't eat it.
I mean, why not?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you never see like
no, but they can.
Geographic.
Humans also eat them in Africa too. But what else eats you? I used to know like all of their predators when I did presentations about these guys specifically. They're actually really commonly, as far as I've been told, in Africa.
Interesting.
Yeah, like frog legs here, I guess.
Yeah,
they're totally edible. But that's actually a good purpose for this frog, and they're not an endangered animal. So they're doing very well in Africa as a species, and they're not a toxic frog. Like most frogs are somewhat poisonous or taste bad. So these guys are food for a lot of animals, even bigger animals too. What else could eat you? I mean, other reptiles, they're not a reptile, but reptiles, other predators like that. Certainly birds. There's a lot of water birds that eat them when they're smaller for sure. But there's big water birds too that might eat them. Fishing eagles eat them. Hawks. All kinds of animals.
Wow.
Yeah, but they are an aggressive species, so they do defend themselves. They bite. They're strong. They can hop away. They can hide. But having the camouflage helps them to hide. But why else would this animal need camouflage besides just hiding from predators?
I don't know. What
to hide
else?
from their food, of course. So they're going to actually ambush their food too. So they're eating live animals most of the time, wiggly, running around, swimming around animals or flying animals. Anything that gets too close and doesn't see this, delicious food. So yes, so a lot of predators have camouflage too, even if they don't get eaten by stuff, which they do sometimes. They're also hiding from the stuff that they eat because they're eating animals.
Now,
right?
I've seen this guy eat mice. Now, mice would be around like muddy areas.
Sometimes rodents come down and get a drink of water. Sometimes they would. Most of the time in the wild, they're going to be eating things like other frogs, fish, snakes, birds that come down to get a drink and don't see them.
They eat other frogs too.
Oh yeah, lots of bugs, lots of creepy crawly things too. They eat scorpions, they eat spiders, all kinds.
Do they eat themselves?
Like eat the same species? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. If they're smaller.
So these guys eat whatever
literally
is in
anything.
front of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and they're very territorial as well. So males will try to get their own territory and kick out other male frogs too because they want their babies there, not. And that's part of the courtship too. So the females are seeing all the strength of the males fighting, and then they want just their territory for their babies so they can pass on their genes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they're pretty tough. They're a really cool species. Again, it's the third largest frog in the world and the second largest frog in Africa. The first largest frog species is actually a toad. It's the cane toad. Cane toads are huge. And then the next biggest is called the Goliath frog, which is another African species. And then it's the pixie frog or the African bullfrog, which the males are huge. So we were saying volleyball sized, but that's pretty much, like a smaller male would be a volleyball size. They're huge. Y'all should look them up. Look at the beautiful colors. They have really pretty yellow.
Can they eat their babies too?
They could eat their babies, but Dad is super duper not going to do that. He is very protective. Other males might eat strange babies to them, or females might eat babies. But usually females will lay the eggs and then disappear. They'll go off and do their own thing. And then Dad will keep his territory safe from predators and other males and things like that.
That's cool.
But yeah, they could. Lots of frogs eat their own young. Most frogs are terrible parents. Some frogs are great parents. There's a few good ones. That's a good question.
So I saw this video on TikTok of this frog that was the cutest thing ever. But they were trying to feed it a bug. And then I guess it didn't like the bug. And then it just started gagging.
The frog was gagging?
The frog was just one.
Okay, you're going to have to show me. That was a good impression.
Oh my God.
You're going to have to show me later.
Cutest thing ever. But yeah, I thought it was really funny because.
Picky frog?
Yeah.
Not usually normal.
I know. I thought that was kind of ridiculous, but apparently it's a thing. Some frogs are picky and they eat the thing and they just.
It's like the gagging cat videos.
Yeah,
with
the cucumber.
Show the cat something gross.
Like a pickle or something. Yeah.
I've never seen Frances deny a meal that I've ever given her. I've never seen her gag.
No, I think it's just this one particular type of frog.
Oh, okay.
And I forget the type of frog, but it's like a nice creamy looking one. It's really cute.
Well, what else should we say about Frances? Oh, why else are frogs important? So they show us the health of the planet. And that's actually because these guys are very sensitive to things on their skin. They have slime on their skin and they have very absorbent, wet skin. So one reason for that, why they have that in the first place, is not just to be sensitive. It's to be able to breathe and process oxygen through their skin, through the water and things like that. So amphibians have that slime coat. So whatever touches them, they can potentially absorb. So if there's toxins or trash or disease or fungus in the planet, they're some of the ones that get affected first. So we can look at them and be like, oh, well, the frog populations are dropping off, or they're sickly looking, or maybe they're getting gross on their skin. There's all kinds of different studies that scientists can do to see, if frogs are sick, then the planet's probably sick. But what's another good reason why we need frogs? Why do we need them? Frogs and amphibians in general. Why do we need them?
Circle of life. I'm guessing.
Circle of life. Yeah, they eat stuff.
I have a question. Okay.
Well, let's answer this question first. So, circle of life. So, what do they eat in general? What do frogs eat? Frogs eat a lot of bugs, mosquitoes, flies.
all kinds of
things that a lot of animals don't want to
things,
eat in
yeah.
general. So they could eat things like mosquitoes that can make us sick,
larvae.
flies, yep, and they help control populations of those crazy bugs. So even like roaches, all kinds of animals that can make other animals sick, and also just take over. I mean, there's too many bugs, they're going to eat everything, and they're going to. I can't even imagine that kind of planet where there's just bugs everywhere. So some of them are fine in smaller numbers, but everywhere, no. So we need animals that eat those things for sure. And they eat a lot of insects. Okay, what was your question?
What does it take to take care of something like
Yeah, good question. A lot of people do like frogs. Yeah, a lot of people do like frogs and maybe want a pet frog. I don't really recommend them as a pet per se because they're not really a good pet. And the reason I say that is because they're not going to want to be held. You can see Francis going crazy trying to get away from me. Also, you really shouldn't hold them very often. I've rinsed my hands, so everything's okay. But they're very sensitive, like we just mentioned. So anything on your hands can potentially harm them, and they can make you sick as well. So if you are not going to remember to wash your hands and then go eat a sandwich, you might get sick from that. They're fairly messy as an animal as well. Although the African bullfrog and even our firebelly toads are two of my favorites to recommend because they are a little less maintenance than some other frogs. Lots of frogs, especially tree frogs, they climb and they poop everywhere like birds. So they're going to have lots and lots of feces to clean up. This type of frog doesn't really go to the bathroom that often, even though they do eat quite a bit. Their poop isn't too bad, and they don't move around a lot as a species. They're kind of lazy, so you don't need a ton of space either. So to take care of them, I mean, they need a water source. They need a bowl of water. We give her a big bowl to get in and get out if she wants to have a little, not really swim, but a little soak, I guess, and be in her water. And then we give her soil to be in, which is safe for frogs. And we have some fake plants in there, and that's about it. And then I feed her about 2 to 3 times a week. I just feed her a lot when I do feed her. Feed her a nice good amount of bugs or mice or whatever we're feeding that day. And she'll eat whatever. Always meat. They never eat vegetables or anything like that. But they're not super hard to take care of. You can mist them as well with dechlorinated water, but I usually just leave a big bowl of water in there and she can get in and out. They absolutely cannot have hard water or any sort of chlorinated water. So it has to be dechlorinated water, bottled water, or you can add some stuff to your water to make sure there's no chlorine in it. So that's really the basics. It's not super hard, but again, it's not going to be like a pet that wants to cuddle with you and like happy to see you every day. They're more for observing. That's a good question.
Somebody's asking.
Ale's here.
Ale.
I think. Yes.
How long is
eat all the mosquitoes? How long is the tongue? That's a good question. Some frogs have longer tongues than others. Frogs do not have chameleon tongues though, so they don't have like a long, super stretchy tongue that could like stretch out that fast or that far. I mean, but they do have long, right? A pretty long tongue. I mean, it can probably reach about this far. You'll see. About this far. So I would say it's a couple inches on her, which is pretty big for her size. Oh my gosh, I know we're almost done. And it's sticky, and they typically will kind of stick out their tongue to catch stuff, and then kind of scoop the food into their mouth. One really cool thing about frogs as well is the ones that actually scoop the food. They scoop the food with the back of their hand like this. They don't actually turn their wrists. They don't have turning wrists to scoop food. So if you were human, a human, how would you pick up food? Show everybody. Like with your bare hand. You would probably do that. You wouldn't do this, right? That would be weird. But frogs actually do this because they don't have wrists or elbows that rotate like us. So we don't even think about it. We just pick things up and go like that. But they actually scoop up. So if an insect or anything that they feel on the top of their hands, they'll scoop it up and they'll stick the tongue out and also gulp at the same time and then swallow with their eyeballs. So it all happens really, really fast. But yeah, some frogs will just jump right after things. So firebelly toads, the other species we have, actually doesn't have a tongue. So they actually will just go and grab things with their little clampy mouths and just grab them like that. They don't have a sticky tongue at all. They have no tongue. But that's weird in frogs. Most frogs do have a kind of a medium length tongue. Show me your tongue. Perfect.
So
good question.
So about that big. And because I've seen him eat bugs, and it looked pretty.
Seen her.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
I know.
Took out her tongue, and it was pretty long. I mean, it looked pretty long.
Yeah, it's a couple of inches long on her because she's
I've
smaller.
Seen the chameleon, and that's very
long. A chameleon actually has a tongue that expands quite far.
I think she needs to be put away.
Okay, well,
because she looks tired now.
She looks tired. I think you're just tired.
No,
You're projecting.
I'm not tired. No,
no, she's ready to probably have a break, and that's fine. Yeah. She does just fine, you guys. I think she just stubborn. But she's one of my favorites. Frances is a really neat animal to meet in person as well. If you guys want to meet her, just let me know, and she can visit anywhere. Somebody is asking what kind of frog is poisonous. So lots of frogs are actually poisonous, and you are using the right terminology. Yeah. Frogs, for their poison to take effect, you have to actually eat it or lick them or taste them or etc. or touch them. So that wouldn't be considered venom. Venom would be injected into you or a prey or something like that. But a frog usually uses their poison for defense. So poisonous frogs don't get eaten by stuff, right? Because everybody knows they're poisonous. And usually poisonous or toxic frogs have bright colors or some sort of warning to warn their enemies not to eat them. And if they try it, they either taste awful or they're really dangerously poisonous. There's many species. Of course, poison dart frogs, firebelly toads are a little bit toxic. There's many others. There's some like cane toads. Cane toads actually have toxic glands that they kind of secrete poison out of their skin. So there's lots of poisonous frogs. Be cool to look it up. Okay, Frances, golly. Frances is doing the dance. What she's doing is actually stretching her legs out and trying to jump off my hand, but I'm not going to let her because I don't want her to fall. Okay, Frances, say bye. Bye-bye. What does a bullfrog sound like, Rikky?
Bye-bye.
What does a bullfrog sound like?
Actually, I've never heard her do any sounds.
Well, what does a male bullfrog sound like?
I'm guessing like burp, like that.
Exactly. Have you guys ever drank a beverage such as a soda and then burp afterwards?
Oh, that's how it sounds like?
It sounds like a man's burp. So, or me.
Speaking of...
or...
You with Andrew from Southside.
Oh no, that's me every day. Yeah. No, but a bullfrog male has the burping similar vocalization. It sounds like brr, right? And then the females don't. I'm talking to you. The females actually don't sound like that. They have like a beep beep beep.
Really, like a chicken, like just.
Yeah, it sounds like a chick, like a baby chicken. That's what a female African bullfrog sounds like. So, I've heard her make noises like a couple of times, and it sounds like that. Yeah. Ah. So that's another way to tell the gender is by the voice.
I want to hear her.
But also, I'm sure we could look it up on a video. I don't know if she'll do it on command, but I'm sure there's another one. But whatchamacallit, that's one way to tell the gender when they're younger, because until they grow up fully, it's hard to tell male from female because they are a frog. They're a frog that can live for like 30-ish years. So I'm not going to wait 30 years to, you know what I'm saying? Like to tell, because the males are bigger than females, but not till they're mature. But when they're younger and you hear that noise, you can hear the burp versus the beeps and tell the female from the male.
So beeps and burps.
Beeps and burps.
Beeps and burps. Okay.
I'm glad you love Frances. How far can she jump? Not super far. So these guys, they kind of just do little hops here and there. But when they're big and full grown, I've seen the males like fighting in videos, not in person. I would never do that, obviously. But in the wild, they'll fight each other to look tough for the females during breeding season. And they can really like kind of jump after each other. But they're not really one of those type of frogs that's going to be like the record holder for jumping because their legs are shorter than other frogs. So they're a big round shape, but they have sort of long legs. Pretty short. Were you going to ask me something else?
Well,
or mention something?
Yeah, I was going to say, are there any frogs that like spit out like poison or
I don't remember. I don't think they spit it because it doesn't come from their saliva like a snake. So like a snake, if they were venomous, right? Oh, it smells really strong. If they were venomous, a snake would have venom glands, and it's essentially just really advanced saliva. So, but a frog, it's not the saliva. They're not going to be spitting anything. No. But I think there's some, and I could be wrong, you guys, I don't remember, that actually squirt venom from their skin. But I know some of them secrete venom, and it's just like there.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, the cane toad. Cane toads, you can actually squeeze like a pimple, and it can come out. Oh. It's gross. But it's really toxic, and nothing eats them because of that. Yeah. So when an animal bites a type of frog like that or a toad, it squeezes it out and they, it's gross. And
And that just, you die.
Depending on which species.
Yeah, gross. Okay.
But it's a great defense, right?
Because I remember in the X-Men there was this character called
in the
Toad.
X-Men?
Yeah, and he would spit this like venom, and I knew that's like.
No,
but I
I've
don't
never
know
seen
if
a
it
frog
was
spit
like
anything.
based on some frog or something.
I don't think so. You guys let me know if you know of anything like that. I don't think so. I've never heard of that. There's snakes that can spit their venom, but they're not super common, like spitting cobras, right?
Yeah.
But that makes sense to me because it's saliva.
Well, I mean, I figured there must be like some animal if it's. I mean,
I don't know.
It's always fake in the movies.
Okay,
but
so
like,
the
even in Jurassic Park, you have that thing that would spit.
Yes, but that's a lizard, snake. I could see snake, lizard. That's not a frog.
Yeah.
Also, that's not real. But there's snakes that spit venom, I guess. And I might just not be remembering one, but I don't think so. And then there's a lizard that can squirt blood out of its eyes too. So that's also crazy.
That is crazy.
And that's not poison. It's like whoa, what happened? It's like to get you to back up.
Okay.
Kind of just like, what just happened to me? I'm covered in blood. So anyway, that took a turn. Anything else?
No.
Okay, so we are actually going to meet another African predator, which is small, but also kind of big for this type of animal. You're going to use that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and get that over with. And then put it away. So this is it's a large animal for the type of animal it is, but it's still a handheld animal. So if that makes any sense whatsoever. So this is another predator. This is not an aquatic animal, and it's actually quite a dry weather animal as well. And the African bullfrog we just met, the species is from the savannas of Africa, so more like central grasslands, things like that. This one is strictly in one country in Africa, to my knowledge, which is South Africa, and they live in the desert only. So this is Xena, the African flat rock scorpion. So not the African bullfrog this time, African flat rock scorpion. Another African animal, I don't want her to fall, another African animal, but very dry weather, like I mentioned, extremely nocturnal, meaning nighttime. They never come out in the day because it's way too hot where they live. You can see how big she is for a scorpion. This is one of the biggest species of scorpion on Earth. I want you guys to be able to see her. Once she gets settled a little bit, she will just kind of hang out on my hand very easily. These guys are amazing, y'all. And a lot of people are afraid of scorpions, rightly so, because a lot of scorpions are extremely venomous. This species, you might be worried about me, but I'm fine. She is not super venomous. All scorpions have venom, but not all scorpions have the same amount of venom or toxicity to them, just like frogs, actually. Yeah. Talking about poison versus venom. So venom, of course, on a scorpion, it would be injected from the stinger, which is attached to their telson, which a lot of people call the tail. So the telson, the metasoma is the tail. The telson is the end of the tail. So it is attached to the telson, which is the ball on the end of the tail. But the metasoma is the tail. And that's what is jointed to be able to sting you or their prey. So most scorpions will use their stinger to sting their food, which could be a bug, right? It could be an insect or a spider or another scorpion or whatever. They'll sting, and then that venom will cause them to be paralyzed or cause a lot of pain, so they can't get away. And then the scorpion can grab onto them with their claws, and then they can start eating them with their mouth. So a scorpion's mouth is kind of like little tiny claws too. They kind of pull the food apart with their little mouth claws. They're called chalcerae, but they're little mouth claws. That's what they look like, not microscopic, but under a microscope, that's what they look like. They're really tiny claws, and they simultaneously will just drool all over their food and break it down at the same time. So it's like a little, almost like reminds me of something mechanical when they eat.
Really?
Yep. But they use their venom so the food doesn't get away. That's the main reason a scorpion is going to sting something. But this scorpion species has such big claws that they've evolved to have very, very little venom. So their venom doesn't even hurt anymore. So especially on a person. They may also sting to look tough and defend themselves, but most predators are going to be like, really, that's nothing. Their main predators are actually things like meerkats. Lizards also eat them a lot. Birds, of course. But they do usually just stay away from danger and stay underground most of their life. They're almost never going to come out of underground unless they're chased out from underground, or unless it's like flooded or something, some emergency. They've evolved to being like in the darkness all the time. So do you know much about scorpions? What do you know?
A little bit. I mean, I know that about what you just mentioned about their stinger.
Yes.
If it's small, the stinger means that it doesn't have a lot of poison or venom.
It's really the tail. If the tail is fat, then it's more venom. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So like this part. So if you see, if you look up scorpions that are really, really toxic, they have big fat tails. The stinger is usually the same. Like the stinger is just the needle part. So that's usually the thing. But the easiest way to tell is by the claws. So if the claws are skinny or smaller, yikes, that's really bad because they have a lot of venom. And if the tail is fat and the claws are skinny, double yikes. But if the claws are big, then they don't need a lot of venom because they can just hang on to stuff. So their food isn't super large animal, so they can just clamp and eat it like a crab. But that's how crabs catch their food too. They just have their big claws. Yeah. Did you know that scorpion ancestors used to be in the ocean, like crabs?
I know that there used to be giant scorpions.
Yeah, too. giant crabs too. But scorpions too. Scorpions are actually really similar to like a big lobster. So they were like 4 feet long, underwater, fully aquatic.
Wow.
So they have turned into pretty much land animals all over the planet. There's scorpions everywhere except for Antarctica. And they're very important animals too.
Like his.
It's another girl.
Sorry, this girl, like. She's related to a spider, right?
Yes, they're arachnids.
So can they
distantly?
Mm-hmm. Can they see as well as a spider? Like
most spiders don't see very well.
What? I thought
some spiders see really well, like jumping spiders. But most spiders don't see very well. Tarantulas don't see very well.
No, I thought that they had 8 eyes and they could see.
They do have 8 eyes.
Very well.
They don't see well. So some spiders have tiny eyes and they're multiple eyes, but they still don't see very well. Just tiny ones. And then this one, same thing. They actually have 6 eyes for this species instead of 8. So these guys have 2 eyes on the top. See that? 2 eyes on the top. Those are the most obvious one. And they've got 2 eyes on each of their little, what I call cheekbones. They're not really cheekbones. They're the little front part of their face. So there's 6 eyes total. But their eyes are very, very primitive. There's almost no vision left. So they barely see anything. Their best sense is their sense of touch. So just like a spider, they have hair on them, and that will help to feel vibrations and movement around them. That's going to be their pretty much only way to figure out what's going around them is sense of touch.
So pretty.
They also smell a little bit, but it's primitive smell, so they don't have like a nose. Their hair actually gathers smell for them into their body by different methods.
So cool.
You see all the hairs?
I can see the hairs. I can see. It has a wicked texture on the side of the ribs. Or I don't know what you would call
They're little segments, the different segments. But as an arachnid, how many legs do they have? Like a spider, how many legs?
8.
8, and then 2 big arms, right? So these guys have huge arms, and then spiders have little arms. So the arms are called pedipalps. So they're not really arms; they're actually attached to their little mouth parts, but they function as arms. So I call them arms. And just like the tail isn't really a tail, it's a metasoma, which means back end or like butt. So the metasoma is their butt. It's just been evolved to be like a tail-like hind end that's jointed. So this whole body, they have cephalothorax, which is their center part, like a spider would have that first front part where all the legs are connected to. And they have an abdomen, right? The hind end. And that's it. So they have 2 main segments, but a scorpion has evolved to have this hind end section has turned into a tail. So this whole thing is essentially an abdomen, and the metasoma is their butt. And then the telson, which is the poison gland, attached to the butt, attached to a stinger. Yeah. But they are arachnids, like a spider. You were right. So 8 legs and 2 arms. No antenna. So they're not insects.
So in a scorpion, you don't call them claws. You call them.
You can call them claws.
Pedipalps.
Pedipalps is their whole arm. So that's also what a spider would have too. There's tiny pedipalps. It's like.
But they don't have claws, right?
Yeah, spiders don't have claws. Correct. Scorpions have claws / pinchers. You can call them pinchers. But pedipalp is the whole arm, not just the pincher arm. The whole, and it's all jointed in different places, right? Aren't they neat, you guys? People are scared of them. I don't blame you. It's okay to be afraid of scorpions. Don't pick them up.
Somebody's saying, how long can a scorpion live?
How long can they live? Scorpion species have different lifespans or expectancies. This species of scorpion can live into their 30s or 40s.
Wow.
They live a long time. I hope Xena lives forever because I love her. I do not know how old Xena is because I got her as an adult. Xena's a mom. Remember?
Yeah.
39 babies one time. It was almost 40. I'll never forget. 39.
Wow.
But we have one of her babies that they take a long time to grow. So I mean, I'm guessing she's probably like 20-ish. But I don't know. I really don't know.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you think she's 20?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Neat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, because they grow really slow. That's what I've heard. I've heard most people that raise them up, they take forever to grow.
Like 2 or 3 years.
No. Her baby's like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And the baby's tiny still. Yeah. That was a long time ago that happened.
So then, because these guys keep growing, right? So how big is she going to get?
I don't think she's going to grow any bigger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, cold-blooded animals in general never really stop growing, per se. But I've never seen one bigger than this. Okay. I hope she's not super old. They're neat. So a lot of times I'll be holding her and people won't even notice that I'm holding her.
I know, we get...
or they think she's fake.
when we're in events and we have the scorpion, everybody's like freaking out. Like,
I know.
What? You're going to hold it?
Yeah.
Is it going to sting?
I mean, if she does, I'll be fine. It doesn't hurt. I've been stung by her just a couple of times, but it was always my fault. Just startled her, or she was being protective of her babies. That was one reason. Y'all see her? So scorpions are also another very misunderstood and also important creature. They've been here since the dinosaurs, probably before. So as far as I know. People are nervous around bugs because they're different than us, but they're super important. So they also eat a lot of insects.
So is this a difficult animal to take care of?
No.
No,
they barely have to have any food. They just need to be kept in a warm, dark place in your home and somewhere to hide, somewhere with a lid because they could potentially can climb out. But they're not strong, so it doesn't have to be a lid that's like locked or anything. It can just be a regular top on an enclosure. Not a ton of moisture, so we just give her a little water dish so she can go get a drink if she wants, but she never drinks anything because she's a desert animal. But just in case she wants to, she's got it there. And then she eats things like crickets and dubia roaches and superworms. And they don't really eat very often. In the wild, they'll eat maybe like every couple months. They'll try to eat something or maybe take the opportunity if they happen to be hungry. She's probably gonna hold on to me with her claw to stay balanced. See that? She's like trying to pinch me. But not to hurt me. She just wants to get some leverage there. But yeah, no, very easy to take care of. Although they're not for everyone. You have to make sure and know what you're doing. They are potentially fragile in some ways. Like they're sensitive to chemicals. They're sensitive to water that's not dechlorinated as well, just like the frogs. They actually need dechlorinated water. That's all of your invertebrates and bugs, though, too, even if you want Madagascar hissing cockroaches or a tarantula or a scorpion, frogs. Those guys need dechlorinated water.
I can see a lot of people always getting tarantulas.
Yeah.
It's like scorpions are cool, right? They're way cooler.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they're sturdier as well. So much like the Madagascar roaches, these guys are not going to be as fragile as a tarantula. They're a lot more like they have a hard shell. They're tougher. So they could potentially, you could make a couple of mistakes.
And you can tell it's like she's looking at me and she's like thinking like
You think so?
Like, look at me. Because she does, right? Look at like she's flexing.
Yeah. She's like a bodybuilder over here. They're neat, right? I think she's so cool. They have
cool.
Little claws. You see the claws?
Yeah,
on the toes?
I know, it's really cool.
So spiders have the same thing, but spiders have retractable claws and scorpions typically don't. So scorpions don't have like the fuzziness to them, and their claws stay out all the time, as far as I know. I don't know if that's all scorpions or not. But
I know it's kind of hard to see here, but they have like two little fingers.
They're claws.
At the end, and it's like gripping on you, like real good. And they're like really tiny, almost like little needles, right?
They're like little nails.
Yeah.
Now, fun fact, they are not made of keratin. These guys have what we call chitin instead of keratin. So keratin is a mammal, reptile, bird thing, etc. These guys have nails and a whole exoskeleton, right? They don't have any bones. So there's no bones at all. No keratin either. So there's no true hair, but they have hair, right? and they have claws, but it's not made of
not...
keratin. It's made out of a totally different material called chitin. So chitin is a bug and invertebrate thing. Spiders that have hair, it's made out of chitin. Just a different thing. Are you bored?
No. Chitin.
No, so this will be keratin on top of your head, and your fingernails are keratin.
Can I see it?
And there's no bones, of course.
It is so cool. So what are those? The front, the mouth, is that like teeth?
So yeah, so remember I told you they're little claws.
Yes.
So can you see they're like little miniature claws in the mouth? You see that?
But they're not. But they're not. But what would they be called?
They're called chelicerae.
Chelicerae.
Chelicerae is the mouth parts of a invertebrate, or at least arachnid. So they're like little claws. So here's a claw and there's a claw, and they're pointing down. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool. So they literally like when they eat.
But right now I just see two things like this.
It looks like two fingers.
But it's not gripping like that, right? That's the part I can't see.
It's more like this.
Oh, it's like that. Okay, like that.
You see him?
Right? Like that.
You see him? Look. I know it's really hard to see.
Yeah, but I can't see the bottom part. It's
sideways.
Okay. So that's
it's like a bird upside down. Like this.
Oh, got it.
Like a parrot's head upside down.
Like that. So it's like
this.
Yeah. Oh, that is.
See it now?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But it kind of blends into itself because it's all brown.
It's hard to say because it looks like that, but I can't see what's underneath. So I didn't know if it had like that.
So it's like this.
Yeah. That is cool.
So 6 eyes, 2 mouth claws, which are called chelicerae.
The other thing
2
is
arms,
like
8 legs,
it is very
tail,
hairy. Like
very
once
hairy.
you see it up close, like you can see it. It's like it's covered in hair.
You know what movie I want to rewatch?
Which one?
Is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, really? Why?
Remember, it has a big old scorpion in it.
It does. I don't remember.
I love the whole movie's awesome, but it has a really well done scorpion and ant.
Mm-hmm.
So the scorpion gets killed pretty. Spoilers: the scorpion gets killed pretty fast. But the auntie is like the little hero of the movie. But I just love
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio. And now we're going into Ant-Man names.
Anthony. So funny.
Do they poop? Yes, they do. Good question. So since this is actually technically the hind end is the tail, they actually poop out of their tail. So I don't know if you can see it all. I'm trying to keep her tail up because she wants to flatten it because she's a flat rock scorpion. I don't know if you can see it all, but there's a little bit of white stuff on her tail. That's because when they go number 2, it's brown, but number 1, it's white, just like a bird. So number 1 are like urine. You see it? They kind of get dirty from it sometimes. So their urine is called urates, and it's like a more of a solid urine, and it's white. So that's why bird poop looks white, because it's really urine or urates. And these guys have a similar, just like reptiles or any other animal, even spiders have white feces or urates, and they go out of their tail. So it sometimes gets dirty. So she actually has some dirtiness on her tail. But yeah, that's where they go to the bathroom. So they cannot live without their tail. So if something chops their tail off, or if they get it stuck in something and it comes off, or if something eats their tail, they can't go to the bathroom anymore and they will die.
No.
They will get too much toxins in their body and they'll pass away. So they need their tail. It is not a tail.
And they can't regrow it.
They cannot regrow their tail. Correct. I don't think so.
Oh.
They can regrow like a leg, but here's the thing. So they have to molt for anything to regenerate. Yeah. These guys are not axolotls where they just grow things back immediately. They have to go through a whole molting process. So in order to do that, they have to keep eating and they have to keep, calories and things like that to be able to do that. So they couldn't use the restroom and then eat, you know what I mean? So they can't digest, essentially. So yeah, they won't live very long right after that. So that does happen. But don't do that to scorpions. They actually give birth though out of another spot, which is under here. So
and
there's
they don't lay eggs, right?
They do not. Scorpions actually give live birth, and they have live babies, and the babies actually go on the back whenever their firstborn, and mom takes care of them.
The big scary, remember when we found them, we opened the box?
Well, yeah, that's how I saw. I was like, she's got babies, and then they were all over her. And that was pretty cool. Yeah. And they actually are born and they're white. They're like really, really light white. And then they get their first molt and then they turn brown, and that's when they usually leave their mom. So it's like a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good moms. They're very protective and they feed them too.
Yeah. I remember we got her and not knowing she was pregnant.
Right.
And surprise.
Babies.
Lots of babies.
She's a great mom.
Yeah, she was great.
But yeah, everybody poops. Don't you know that? Not everybody poops in the same capacity or way, but anyway, I just like them. I just think that they're really neat and misunderstood. There's no wings, so they can't fly at anyone. So if we ever see you guys in person, she's not going to jump on anyone or fly on you. She's just going to stay put. You want to hold her?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do so everybody can see. Ready? Actually, the back of your hand is a little better. Just stuck to me a little bit. So awkward, Lena. Okay, and then kind of, yeah. Show everybody. Wow. Neat. What do you think? Can you feel the little legs hanging onto your skin?
Yes.
But it doesn't hurt. She's just like there.
No. And the other thing is, it doesn't look like it, but she's got some weight to her. Like she's pretty, like compared to a
super heavy
spider
or anything. Yes. You're right. It's more like the roach.
Yeah.
Right.
No, heavier. Like this thing is.
But as far as what it feels like,
they
kind of grab onto you. Here, we can do the flat hand. Flat hands. Let's do 2 hands. Oh, you can have 2. Oh my goodness, she doesn't like you.
No, she's great. No, she's pretty heavy, and you can tell like she's got a grip like the spider, but
a little bit.
And you can feel her moving. Like the spider, you can barely feel her.
Mm-hmm.
This one, like, look, like you can feel her gripping.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know you guys can't see, but
there we go. Yeah, they kind of hang on.
Yeah,
really well.
She's hanging on. Look, that is so cool.
Now you see the white stuff on the tail, right?
So here, so you guys can see her. There she is. Look, she's saying hi.
Say hello.
Look, she looks like Sebastian.
Under the sea. I love how we said the same thing in 2 different languages. But she's African, so she wouldn't do that. Oh. And also not in the sea. So did you know that scorpions glow under a black light?
Yes. Pretty
One
cool.
of these days we'll have to do a video showing that. Yeah. But we have to turn off all the lights and do the black light. But they actually have glowy properties in their skin. And I forget what they're called because it's been a minute since I've talked about this. But why do they have that?
Because they're venomous.
But there's other venomous animals that don't glow in the dark.
Because they're radioactive.
No.
Because...
I'll give you a hint. It's a trick question.
Because...
Why do they do it?
I don't know why.
No one knows.
No.
So it's a mystery. So there's a lot of theories. But since they don't see well, it really doesn't make any sense. So their vision is terrible. So why have glowing things? Well, maybe that's how they see. Maybe they see
ultraviolet.
Yeah. But we don't really think that anymore. So that used to be kind of like that. Oh, maybe they signal each other or something like that. But the most recent theory, and what I like the best, is it's just leftovers from being a sea creature. Because you know how sea creatures in the deep ocean have like, what do you call it? Bioluminescence. Yeah. They're thinking it's just leftover from evolution.
Crazy.
They don't really use it anymore that we know of. It also could be kind of a in the dark thing. Maybe they see it in the dark and I don't know. Yeah. But no one knows. That's the answer. So your guess is as good as mine. But I think that's why, because it makes sense to be an ocean animal. Because a lot of animals communicate with glowy skin in the ocean. Yeah. And some animals, you know, still do that, right? So their ancient relatives definitely used to be under the ocean. We know that. So could just be from that. That is really cool. But they communicate through certain smells and also touch, and that's really it.
So who's bigger, the males or the females?
For this species, they're the same. Okay. So females will have a shorter tail. Males have a longer tail. What else? I think there's one more difference. Oh, they have little, they're called pectines, which are like little feathery things on their belly. They're kind of like little touch organs too. They sometimes use them for mating purposes and things like that, or to just feel on the ground. It's almost like little whiskers on their belly, but it's like two little feathers. The males have bigger pectines as well. So those are a couple of ways to tell. But in general, they look the same.
Can they live together?
No.
Oh.
No, this type of species I would not recommend keeping together. Some scorpion species are more social, but they can all eat each other if they're hungry enough. So all tarantulas are not social, but some scorpions a little more social than others. They live in little colonies underground.
So breeding would have to be really
delicate. Yeah, very, you know, only for the experienced. And typically they have like a season for that, so they'll find each other during the season. And I'm not a breeder of scorpions, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I do know a little bit. Yeah. So they will actually, one cute thing that they do is when they find each other, part of their courtship is they'll hold claws and they'll do a little spin around. So it looks like a dance.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. And then I'm pretty sure this species and all species of scorpions, they don't actually mate, but they have an external, like not external fertilization, but they'll pick up the sperm. So it'll be like the male will put the sperm on the ground. Yes, that is true. So that's why they do the dance. They do the dance, and the male actually will have the sperm on the ground and put the female over the sperm.
Oh, interesting.
And like, there you go. And then she can, and then I know this, that she can actually decide whether to use it or not. She can expel it and be like, no, thank you. Or she can be like, yes, I want this one.
Wouldn't that be convenient?
I know. And also they can delay fertilization too, until resources are good. So they can actually decide, you know, I'm going to take the sperm. This is the family show, I promise. We're talking about scorpion. They can pick it up, and then they can be like, wait, there's not enough resources right now. I'm going to wait till later. So Xena, for all we know, could have been pregnant or had that sperm packet for a long time before deciding to be like, yes, it's now time for me to be a mother. Maybe it's because we adopted her. And she was like, resources are great right now, and I'm so safe in this, you know, habitat. And then baby time. Yeah. No, some snakes can do that too. Some snakes can delay fertilization too. Some snakes, they can mate one time. Snakes do actually mate, but instead of doing the weird dance.
The weird dance. Scorpion dance.
Scorpion handheld dance. Cute though, right? Yeah. But some snakes can actually mate like once and then have babies over and over again, which is kind of scary.
That is crazy.
But also neat. Animals are awesome. So yeah, that's our scorpion.
If humans could do that, we wouldn't have any politics.
I know. Yep. Everything would be great. Okay, you guys. Well, I think it's on that note. You can say whatever else you would like to say about her. What's your favorite thing about the scorpion?
Here's a question.
Okay. What's the question?
The other color are there any other color of scorpions?
Yes, there's yellow scorpions, there's black scorpions, there's dark brown, light brown, all kinds of mostly natural colors. I'm sure there's colorful ones too.
Does Xena, the flat rock scorpions, do they come in different colors?
No, they're all like this. They're all kind of a darkish, brownish, reddish, kind of generic brown, but that helps them to blend in the stuff, right? So when they're babies, though, they're born white. Yes.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Their first.
Yeah, really freaky.
They're born white and they turn brown.
Well, I think that's like most
a lot of animals have a different color when they're born, right? Yeah. So what's your favorite thing about scorpion?
Let's see. I don't know.
My favorite thing about the frogs is how they swallow with their eyeballs. You like the teeth.
I like the
My favorite thing about the scorpion is probably that they're good moms, because most people don't know that.
That's pretty cool.
They give live birth and are great mamas.
I do. I like that they do carry the babies in their back. I think that's
like
pretty
the opossum. Cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, I think it's like I've seen tarantulas do it. I've seen like different
tarantulas.
Yeah.
Tarantulas will carry their egg sac, but usually the babies, when they're out, they leave.
I saw,
unless there's something I don't know.
I saw one or a spider.
It could be a different kind of spider, but not a tarantula.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, it had a lot of little baby.
But yeah, some
spiders in their
babies
back.
will, or some spiders will carry their babies. You're right.
Mhm.
It may not be a tarantula though. I have to look this up. I am not an entomologist. Full discretion.
Well,
and neither are you.
No, I know.
No, but I believe you. That you saw some. Yeah, but a lot of animals are like surprise good moms or surprise good dads. The frog we just met is a great dad. They take care of their young until they turn into a little frog and they can hop away and go hibernate on their own. And that's not super common for invertebrates or frogs. So those are a couple of great parents. Yeah.
Interesting.
We think of mammals as being the only good parents, or birds maybe.
No.
So let's meet an animal that's not a good parent, that doesn't parent their young at all.
Really?
And it's going to be another African predator. And I'm going to make sure the camera is focused on us because it's going to be big enough to where I shouldn't need to bring him up close. So this one's by far the biggest species, not full grown yet, but bigger than the other two that came out previously. And this is actually a natural predator of frogs and scorpions. And another African predator at that. So in nature, they definitely wouldn't get along with the first two animals, and the first two animals wouldn't get along with each other either. So nobody's friends. So this is Dino. Dino is what kind of animal?
He is a monitor lizard.
What kind of monitor lizard?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do. It's a savanna monitor.
Savannah monitor.
Where does the savanna monitor live?
In the savannah.
Yeah, Africa. So the African savanna, just like the African bullfrog.
I don't think
So
I've ever
in nature, they may eat the
seen
African
her
bullfrog, but they also eat lots of scorpions. So this species of monitor lizard, by the way, monitor lizards live in the old world. Tegus live in the new world. There's no monitors in the new world, so none of the Americas. But monitors live in Australia, Africa. They live in Asia as well. So all over the place. And they are 100% carnivore. They're not going to be eating any plants or fruits and vegetables. They catch their food. They eat usually live things, but they can also scavenge and eat dead things. They are not picky eaters as long as it's meat. But this type of monitor lizard is mostly insectivore. So they will eat a ton of bugs. So they're going to eat lots of roaches, lots of grasshoppers, lots of scorpions, lots of spiders. That's their favorite thing to eat. But they'll also eat eggs and frogs and snakes and birds and whatever. Mice. They love to eat.
It's
And
interesting
we love the
how
tongue.
his eyes look almost human. Like,
They do look almost human. I agree.
Yeah.
Make sure we're all in focus. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, they have very, very smart looking eyes, and they are actually a pretty smart animal. I know he's being wiggly right now, but should settle down. Very, very kind of reddish brown eyes, round pupils. They too have a third eyelid, similar to the frog. The scorpion has 0 third eyelid. They have no eyelid at all. So they don't have any blinking abilities, but this guy does.
This guy does, right?
Yes, they have a third eyelid like the frog does. They just don't have bug eyes like the frog does, right? But they are typically a pretty tenacious type of animal. Dino happens to be a very nice monitor lizard. Most monitor lizards are not super nice, but it just kind of depends on their personality. We were talking about this before the show started, actually. Rikky was asking if he bites. I'm like, he could, but hopefully not. But doesn't seem to be an aggressive animal at all. So we have had a lot of good luck with this animal so far. But these guys are very, very tough. They call them monitor lizards because they see really well. So like monitoring the land around them. They can watch for things. They hunt mostly with their vision, but also with their tongue. So they do have a good sense of taste and smell as well. Unlike the snake, who does not taste anything with their tongue, these guys taste and smell with their tongue, and they also smell with their nose. So it's like a little bit of an extra thing for them. But they can get a lot of idea of what's going on with their forked tongue, just like a snake. But unlike the snake as well, they have great eyesight. So they've got a lot going for them. So they're very sensitive animals. That's usually where they end up being kind of a problem to handle and things like that, is because they are just really sensitive. So everything is really heightened for them. But this guy has like a personality. Now I say boy, but I don't really know. We don't know if Dino is a Dina.
How big their tongue is.
Yeah, the tongue is super long. And as long as they're like kind of interested and alert, they will stick their tongue out quite a bit to settle down, baby. To kind of figure out what's going on around them. I'm not going to let him down because he'll run away.
I do like to see them eating because
yes.
when they eat a lot of times you feed them like eggs and things like that, and I'll see them eating the egg yolk with their tongue, and it looks so cool.
That's more the tegu. This one will eat like the whole egg. He'll do that too. He might lick up things, but most of the time we're feeding him dove eggs, so they'll eat the whole dove egg. No, but they can like lick their chops with their tongue too. But this species usually doesn't use their tongue for much of lapping up anything because the tongue's really tiny and skinny. The tegu will have a thicker tongue though. So that makes sense. So these guys are full predators. They're not going to be eating any sort of, they're not an omnivore. They're not eating fruits and vegetables like I mentioned. All three animals today actually don't do that, except the frog when they're a tadpole. So just other animals. And they like to eat every day if they can in the wild. And they don't really have any winter time. Again, it's hot and dry or it's wet season. But they just kind of adapt. I don't believe these guys actually hibernate. They'll just kind of stay out all year long and look for food. Now we've settled down. So cute. Ha ha ha. They have great hearing as well. So really all 5 senses are really good. And this one's pretty young. They get pretty large, but this is not the biggest monitor lizard in the world. Do you know what the biggest monitor lizard is in the world? I bet you know. Something dragon.
Oh, the Komodo dragon?
Komodo dragon. That's the biggest lizard and the biggest monitor lizard.
So they are related.
Earth. They are related to the Komodo dragon. That's right. So this one is the cousin of the Komodo dragon. That was one of the
questions here. Is Dino related to Komodo dragons?
They are. So this is almost like a miniature Komodo dragon. But this one is non-venomous. Komodo dragons are venomous and also have bacteria in their mouth too, but they are venomous. So Komodos and some other monitors actually do have a little bit of venom. In fact, quite a bit of venom. Komodos are very, very toxic. But some other monitors just have some. It's not like deadly, but it's there. Savannas, as far as we know, don't really have any venom, but I mean, getting bit is not fun.
Crazy.
Yeah, definitely a dirty bite. It's not a clean bite. Like a snake, for example, if you get bitten by a non-venomous snake, it's a super clean bite. These guys have a very dirty mouth. You don't really want to get bitten by these guys. I don't recommend people handling them unless you're a reptile expert or some sort of animal handler. Most of the time, Savannah monitors, unless they're just very well behaved and don't bite, most of the time they do bite. And they're not good pets, you guys. And that's not just for us not getting bit and being a potentially dangerous animal to humans, but these guys don't do very well in human care. You might be wondering, well, why do you have one? Well, number one, we are professionals and we also use our animals for education and to tell you guys like, hey, don't get one, let the experts handle it. Also, this one's a rescue. So a lot of our animals actually end up being rehomed to us or homed to us from some sort of weird situation. So Dino, I actually got the random call from a friend of ours who happens to be a wildlife rehabber who is the person responsible for giving us our opossums and things like that. Now she's not an animal, she's not a reptile expert by any means, but she ended up getting not to say she couldn't take care of him, but she just didn't really have a whole lot of experience with reptiles, etc. She did an okay job, just housing him for a little bit. I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm saying. But she's not typically going to take in exotic animals. This is from Africa, not here. And she's not typically going to rehab reptiles. So she ended up getting a random call from a Good Samaritan saying, hey, we found this lizard wandering around, and kept him for a little bit. And then I guess they realized they didn't know what they were doing. So they were just going to let it back go again. And she was like, no, don't do that. I'll find somebody that can take in. So I got a call from her, long story short, and I was like, oh, it's a Savannah monitor. Is it nice? Because I don't necessarily want to have an animal in our collection that's super difficult or can't be an animal ambassador, right? So she was like, no, it's really nice. We're able to hold it and hasn't tried to bite anybody, nothing. And I'm like, well, let's try it out. So that's where Dino actually came from. And he's been great. He or she, you've been great. But we are definitely a rescue animal. So this one was found like in a field wandering around in North Texas. Just before winter time too, at that. Would not have made it in the winter time. They're not adapted to winter at all.
Okay.
I know. So who knows where Dino came from? Obviously with somebody's pet or a pet store situation or something. Most of the time, these guys are actually imported from the wild to be pets as well. So we definitely don't recommend that. There's very few breeders that breed them, and they don't tend to do very well in human care. They tend to not be fed properly. They get very obese very fast. They have a shorter life expectancy than most monitor lizards too, as far as I've been told, mostly because of their care and misunderstanding about their health and care. Yep, they're hard, so and they need a lot of space too.
How big is Dino gonna get?
Females stay around 3 feet, and males can get up to 5 feet long. That's a big old lizard.
So this guy's gonna get pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, we're already, what, like maybe 2 feet
Mm-hmm.
when we're all the way stretched out. So if we're female, which I kind of feel like maybe we are female, but who knows? Just a little bit bigger. Yeah. But again, this one also, we don't know the history. We don't know a birthday, and we don't know proper or improper care history at all. So they could be stunted a little bit too.
Yeah.
We're just doing our best now.
Little baby.
I know.
Yeah, it's really cool how their faces
cool.
look so human-like. It's
You
for a reptile. Yeah, I think so. I really do.
That's neat.
Like their eyes look like they're looking at your soul. You know, like,
do humans often look at your soul?
They do. No, but you know what I mean. Like, like you look at her face,
like a smart face,
and you can see the eyes. Like I know what you're thinking.
What do you think Dino's thinking?
Like when you see a tortoise or any other animal, like you can't really tell, you know, it's like this is different. Same as the iguana. The iguana, like, or the bearded dragon.
Yeah, they all have similar,
right?
Maybe it's just lizards.
Yeah.
Besides chameleons. Chameleons have weird eyes. Yeah, I think you're right. That's not the first time I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people like the images of dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are kind of like this. Like they look intelligent, they look charismatic. I could definitely see why people would want a pet monitor. There are some people that keep monitor lizards successfully. I just don't recommend them for the average lizard keeper because they're really difficult. A lot of times their nails are super sharp as well. As you can see, we've done a little bit of a nail trim and filed down. Otherwise, I'd be all cut up, just like the iguana. Iguanas have super sharp nails too. But these guys need a ton of room. They're really smart. They need some stuff to do. They need a lot of handling to be tame. Very active. As you can see, we've woken up from our nap, so we're super active. This is a diurnal species though, so they're going to be sleeping at night and out during the day. They also need the right lighting and the right heat and things like that, and the right food. So a lot of people do get a baby Savannah monitor from places like Petco. They sell them there. And PetSmart, sometimes. Some of those stores do. And other pet stores, and they get a little baby one that's no bigger than Dino's arm. And they think, oh, what a great size, pet lizard. But then they grow really fast, and a lot of people are misunderstanding how they're supposed to eat. So they're feeding them lots of fatty food like rodents and lots of just like meat, dog food, things like that. They can eat some of that stuff. I don't recommend dog food because it's got extra things in it like carbs and vegetables, but these guys are carnivores. They need just protein. But a lot of people don't realize that they're mostly eating insects, but it's a lot of insects that they need. So they need like big super worms, big dubia roaches, crickets, of course, are fine sometimes, things like that. They can also eat in the wild. They're going to eat things like spiders and scorpions. I know. This is what they like. They like to just lounge on my hand instead of.
Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
You're so sweet.
She's like, I'm so comfy.
I'm trying to make sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You'd rather just be suspended like that? I mean, that's fine.
I think she noticed that we were making fun of her and she woke up again.
Aww.
Oh, chiquita.
They're cool, right?
Yeah, they're really cool.
So Dino may be a Dina for all we know.
Well, that's cool.
Dino or Dina. Either way. Yeah, and if you're wondering too, this is not obviously aggression. This is just moving around trying to climb, trying to get down.
Oh, look, somebody commented over here.
Yeah. Looks soft. They're soft on their belly. I don't know if you're talking about Dino or another animal. I would assume Dino. So. Soft on the belly. Touch the belly.
Let's see. Yeah, very soft.
And then rough on the back.
Very dry up
so
there.
Kind of like the bearded dragon in a way. Bearded dragons are way more rough than this. These guys are a little more smooth than a bearded dragon.
This feels drier. Yeah, like dry skin. We're down, and it feels like
need some lotion,
like a snake down at the bottom. Oh, cool. Look, they found us on TikTok.
On TikTok, pretty cool. If you're not following us on TikTok, please do that. Not you, but all others watching. We do a few things on TikTok. I don't go post very much over there, but I should. Look at the hand. The hands almost remind me of like a person too. Yeah. Even though, like, what person looks like that? But it almost looks like, I don't know.
Their feet are different than like iguanas or tegus. Like they're more like crocodiles. I don't know. Like different. Yeah. They're different. Yeah. You know.
And they have some dexterity to them. Feet and hands can grab a little bit.
Fingers.
These guys are more on the ground than in trees, but there are monitors that live in trees. They can do a little bit of both. They can climb a little bit and dig and be on the ground too. These guys are mostly going to eat like bugs and things, so they could go into termite mounds and dig in there and eat termites. So this ends up being, I guess, the way they want to be held.
So this guy will climb a tree, right?
Yeah, a little bit. But they're not super climbers like other lizards.
Like
but
iguanas.
Correct. Iguanas are all trees, pretty much. For the green
so
iguanas.
will this guy like just chill on the top of a rock and just kind of...
They'll sunbathe on a rock. Yeah. They might crawl into a log. They might be on the ground. Okay. They might be underground to go to sleep. Things like that. They kind of nomad around and go from place to place.
Are they the hiding kind, or are they the I don't care kind?
Meaning,
like like
like hunting style or hiding, like from
just
predators.
From both, like
they might do a little bit of both. So in the night when they go to sleep, they'll probably look for somewhere to go hide underground to sleep, or underneath something to get out of. When you're asleep, you're vulnerable, right? So just to hide. And then during the day, they're going to be wandering around hunting.
Okay.
Wandering around, or resting.
So because I was thinking kind of like bearded dragons, right? They're out and
they're
about
kind of like
all
that.
the time.
Yeah, they're kind of like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, more so than other lizards. Yeah. That's a good question.
Pronil is asking, doesn't it have reproductive organs?
They do have reproductive organs. You're talking about how do we determine the gender?
Oh.
It's hard to tell on this age. So yes, they're there, but I don't see much going on. So we could be female, but we also could be male because everything's internal. So they don't have anything obvious with the Savannah monitor unless they're really big. And then the bigger the lizard, the bigger the organs, right? And you can potentially tell. Another way to tell is when they use the restroom. Sometimes males, sometimes things will make themselves seen when they're like pushing, for lack of better terms. But I have never seen anything on this animal. So I'm either thinking, they're not big enough to tell, or it's a girl. Yeah. And then once they're like really big, it's easy to tell because the males are far bigger than females. So maybe we're just a girl. I don't know.
Chiquita.
Which I'm fine with, because that means she's going to stay smaller and easier to house and things like that. Easier to hold. But a very, very well-behaved monitor. We move a lot. It doesn't really hurt. Her nails are pretty worn down. But you can see my arm a little bit. It's not bad. Not like the iguana. Yes, but it's going to move around a lot. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, the trick with these guys is not to restrain. You just kind of keep them...
It keeps going backwards.
Yep.
Oh, that is so cool. I was not expecting that. That is the coolest thing ever. Okay,
yeah, that's kind of their little trick to getting what they want.
Because the iguana goes forward. Look. The bearded dragon moves forward. I thought that's what she was doing. But now I see she's going backwards. It is funny. This is funny. Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to get away with.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
But they're pushing down. She's pushing down. Now I see it. This whole time I thought she was going up.
Yeah, I'm just that good of an
animal. I was like,
that's just my style. So I don't make it obvious what they're doing. So, and I'm kind of just like,
yeah.
Now I'm tired of it. Okay, fine. I'll just lay here. Oh, that's so cute.
Look at her face. Look at her face. She's like,
womp womp.
she's like one of those kids that the parents make them take a photo, right? And they're just kind of like.
Although, to be fair, that's their one expression that they have.
It's like, smile.
I am smiling.
That's me smiling.
Oh. Whoa. Tino. Sometimes she's really good. Sometimes she doesn't move at all. It just kind of depends. It's your fault. I blame you.
It is.
You're not here usually, so. Well.
But she is the coolest.
So I know you like their eyes. So that's probably your favorite thing.
That's my favorite thing. And the tongue.
They're cool eyes. The tongue, yeah. I think so.
I mean, now I like their hands too. Their hands are pretty
hands.
Cool. And I do like that they go backwards. That's really cool.
Now she's going forwards.
Can I?
Oh, yes. But they're, the legs are going all over the place. Almost like a kitten or something. What is this expression?
This is the coolest thing ever. I'm holding a monitor lizard, guys.
Oh.
dinosaur. I have a dinosaur in my hand. Yeah. That is cool. It's really cool.
They are.
That's the one thing that I keep telling people that is the
Look.
The important thing about what we're doing is that you get to hold an animal that is rare, that is cool, that you think lizards, they all feel the same, they all act the same, they all whatever. They're not. They're all different. They all have different textures and different way they move and the way they it's the coolest.
It is the coolest. I'm glad you like her. / him. It. Them. Oh, the nails.
And I know you guys can't hear, but she is making a little bit of noise.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
What kind of noise?
Like I could hear her breathe.
Oh, the breathing?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear that.
But it's cool. But you
There we
can't
go.
hear unless you're like really, really close.
That's probably just breathing.
Yeah.
Breaths. They can hiss a little bit.
Yeah.
Most lizards don't really make a whole lot of vocalization, just hissing. But if this animal were very upset, its mouth would be open, it'd be trying to bite me. This is just like trying to move around, Like, let's go. Let's go do stuff. Well, it's time for bed.
Chiquita. Look at those eyes, so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool because they look like human eyes, but they're like orange red. So it's like kind of like those Halloween contact lenses.
Yeah. Definitely a prehistoric looking animal for sure. So 3 animals actually that are pretty old.
Yeah.
In history.
But
that we met today.
It's amazing how all the reptiles have different adaptations that just make them look completely different, but then they're still kind of the same. It kind of makes you wonder, like,
similar but different.
If nature just kind of goes crazy in every single planet, like, will there be other reptiles in other planets? Will there be other spiders and other humans? Wouldn't that be
Maybe
cool
the reptiles are the ones with the 8 legs. And the spiders are the ones with the 4 legs.
Maybe there's mammals with 4 legs.
Mm-hmm. There are already mammals with 4 legs.
No, I mean like human like mammals with 8,
like 4 legs below and 2 arms on top. Ooh, weird. I don't know if I want that.
We're gonna look like that. Baby.
So that's called a roll. That's another like kind of way to get away with being not held.
Oh boy.
Didn't mean to scare you.
No.
But they can also do that when they're hunting. So they'll do like almost like a crocodile.
Yeah,
spin. Mm-hmm. That's pretty normal. She's like, that worked. Let me do that again. Like they're not dumb. Okay, buddy. We can go back down now.
Okay.
Say goodbye.
No.
Okay, we're gonna put her away, and that was fun. We just kind of had like a casual live stream this time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh,
so Dino, for those that I wish people could feel feel the texture on her back because it's quite something.
Dino, Xena, and Francis all put away now.
It feels
safely resting.
It feels like what I think an elephant would feel.
Yes, similar. Elephants are softer than that.
So
the belly feels like an elephant.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. They're soft. Yeah. Elephants almost feel like humans. It's a little bit
it would
rougher.
be like rough, or maybe because it
depending on where.
I thought it would feel like
wrinkly parts of the elephant,
like a rhino, like hard or something.
Have you felt a rhino?
I thought I did.
No,
I felt an elephant though, and I thought they were like kind of rough.
So an elephant is kind of like if a person didn't wear lotion, and then they're really big. So like the pores are bigger, the hairs are bigger, but it doesn't really feel like a lizard. No. Not to me.
It's like a rough. It felt like a rough, dirty skin.
Yeah, maybe an elephant that's been in the mud and with dried mud on it.
Yeah.
But you felt like a pig, right? A pig kind of feels like an elephant.
like that. Yeah.
But a pig with mud on it feels like that. Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah,
like a warthog.
Yes.
Like you touched a warthog. Warthogs kind of feel like the lizard a little bit.
Yeah.
But elephants are a little softer.
But again, like who would think about that? Like who would think about
that's some stuff that you can learn by being around them and touching them and being more interactive.
Anyways, people.
What's another thing that has surprised you about animals that you didn't know before?
The number one thing, I think the personalities.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I always thought, because this is what they teach you in school, is that animals go by instinct, and
yes,
there is some instinct, but so do we. Like we go by some instinct.
We have our senses and our instincts and our
but they also have personalities, and they definitely communicate with each other. I don't know how they do it, but they do communicate.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely socialization and there's definitely intelligence and there's definitely a soul in every one of these creatures. So I think.
Did you know they're even studying? I mean, this isn't new, but like plants too. They're thinking that plants are aware as well.
Probably
because they probably are. Yeah.
No, but I thought that's the coolest thing. I never thought about, and I think.
Well, for example, an animal like a snake. People think that all snakes are the same.
No.
And they think that even like the same species are the same.
No.
They're not. They all have their own habits, their own personalities. Even when they're raised exactly, just like dogs. Dogs can be raised in the same house, the same way, with the same rules and the same food and the same whatever, and you can have two or three or four different personalities.
Crazy.
But of course we know that about dogs because a lot of us have experience with dogs. You didn't have a ton in the beginning, but now that you have been around a lot of dogs, you're like, yeah, obviously. But animals that we don't think of as having personality, I just think it's weird that we think that way.
Yeah.
Because of course it exists. We may not understand them, but.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But I think that if more people were around animals, people would be more empathetic and be a lot less anxious and kind of things would be a lot better.
You have more understanding of other things that are not you.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, cool. Very cool. Well, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. It's been a long live stream. And thank you for sticking around, or thank you for watching if this is not live, but you're just watching it again. Please make sure and follow us on all our social media, including YouTube, where you can subscribe. But anywhere helps at all. And if you'd like to leave a donation, that helps as well. You can find more information down below in the description and on our website, onceinawhile.com. And look out for all things. Look out for upcoming events which are public to the San Antonio area if you happen to be here. And the best way to help us out is by scheduling your own animal encounter. I know this was very casual. We're just kind of chatting it up and catching up with you guys. But most of our encounters that you hire us for are very formal. They'll be like a class about animals, which we call a show and tell. Or we can do something a little bit more casual, like a meet and greet, where you're learning about the animals, always learning something. You usually get to touch something or hold something, take photos, have a lot of fun, learn, but have a lot of fun as well. And we can come to any party, anything at all in our area for all ages. So not just little kids, but adults too. We talked about some interesting things today. Losing your voice.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. We're all going to get hydrated. And thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully not a month away, but we'll see. So whenever that is, we'll see you guys next time.
We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while. Together. Once in a while. I wanna hear you say once in a while. That's the fun for me and you.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.